Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know that we are being joined by people from all over the world, so I'm getting used to welcoming everyone depending on their different time zones. So, welcome to another Scope workshop. In this one, we'll have two guests. So, after some initial information that I'm going to share with you, as I do as always, I'll be joined by Ryan, who'll talk a little bit more about LoRa's and Vase, and also about Comfy UI if we get time for that. And also, James will be joining me today, where we'll be talking a little bit more about the NDI and how the NDI support is being currently implemented in Scope. So, as Scope is growing and developing, we are trying to build around it and expanding the existing functionalities, building upon the new ones, and so on. So, I would welcome everyone to ask us questions. So, we are streaming this on X, on YouTube, on a bunch of other places, but also in our Discord. So, if you are not there, there's this little QR code in the top left corner on my screen. I don't know how it's presented on your side, that you can scan at any time and join our Discord as well. So let me go really quickly through a couple of slides that I want to share with you. We are still accepting applications for our Daydream Interactive AI video program, actually until the end of the day tomorrow. So today is Thursday, February 5th. We are closing our applications on Thursday, February 6th, end of the day. We've got a bunch of really awesome applicants already. So this is your last call to join our program. So we will start next week on Monday, run for about 2 weeks. There'll be workshops, office hours, workshops like this one, but also more private ones, specific Discord channel, and we will try to build and extend Scope capabilities and also learn from you and enjoy what you end up building for us. We had a really successful cohort before this one, and we just decided that we are going to keep rolling on with these ones in the future, as they're a really awesome opportunity for everyone to learn about Scope, but also build stuff related to Scope. So I think that's an opportunity that I would like everyone to use. There are also going to be awards for it. We are giving more than $5,000 in total, but more important than that, you get to build something, you get to share knowledge, you get to connect with other like-minded people. So again, don't miss this opportunity. I think it's a wonderful one. As I said earlier, join our Discord. We are sharing a lot of news and updates on Discord. I think Discord and our community hub are probably the first places where we usually update the information and share stuff with the community, and also engaging quite a bit with everyone. So we would like to welcome you there. And lastly, since Scope is an open source project, we keep saying that all the time, we welcome contributions to it. Our repo is very active, and the people that I'm having as our guests today are contributors to that repo as well, building a lot of capabilities and features around it. And why wouldn't you do the same? So scan this QR code, clone the repo, push some PRs. We are also introducing our plugin architecture. More on that a little bit later, and in the coming days, where you'll be able to expand Scope's existing capabilities beyond just pushing making the entire fork and waiting for us to integrate it. So plugins could be one of those really nice ways for you to extend those capabilities. And with that in mind, I'd like to invite Ryan. Ryan is going to talk with us about LoRa's and Vase and whatnot. So Ryan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you with us. Do you want to say a little bit more about yourself for people who might not know you? I mean, most of the people on our Discord already know about you, and people are following you probably on your YouTube on Ryan on the Inside. But do you want to tell us what you do related to Scope for others who might not know about you?
Sure. So I come from the Comfy UI community originally. That's where Daydream found me.
Yep.
So I've been working with video AI stuff, and then I started working with this real time stuff, which is fascinating to me. And that evolved from Comfy Stream, which was an experiment where we tried to make Comfy UI. Well, we did make Comfy UI real time, but that led us here to Scope, which we intend to be like a playground for real time AI video stuff. So the way that I see it is like, all right, let's do the coolest possible stuff that we can. So that's what I've been working on, and I've been fortunate enough to be allowed to just sort of try to make the coolest possible stuff. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
So I have like a rough presentation prepared to share with you guys. Please do interrupt me with questions at any point. So I'm going to talk about these three things: Vase, LoRa's, and then maybe Comfy UI integration that I'm working on. So these are the three things I'm focused on at the moment. So what is Vase? It's a unified model built by Alibaba, and it's not for real time. It is for the batch paradigm. So this is something that you would find in Comfy UI. It's very, very powerful and very very popular. It was like sort of a paradigm shift when this came out, because it just lets you straight up like control WAN video models. So instead of just doing a text prompt and getting a video out, this was a bunch of knobs that you could turn to really control the videos that WAN produced. So but it was made for the batch paradigm for Comfy UI. So it would generate a bi-directional video, the entire thing at once. So the model knows about the future and the past. So we got this working in real time with these auto-regressive models. And we did this with a training-free approach. And we got basically all the features working, though I'll explain a little bit. Some of them work slightly differently than you'd expect, or in comparison to the batch paradigm, just by the very nature of the transfer here. Because we adapted something made for a bi-directional model to auto-regressive models. So it's cool that it works as much as it does. Some of the things really work very well and are, I'd say, paradigm shifting for the real-time video AI stuff. So the core.
Ran, before you move on, two things. First one, there was an ask if you could put this on full screen, and the second one is, when you said that it wasn't made directly for models that like the real-time model, what was the biggest challenge that we had to go through, and how did you guys went around it to make it work for the models that we're currently supporting in scope?
Honestly, one of the biggest challenges was identifying something. So we had the high level idea, like, all right, so these auto-regressive models like LongLive are based on WAN 2.1, and the community and Alibaba and whatever made a ton of stuff for WAN 2.1. Can we get any of that to work with auto-regressive models? So the first things that we did were low-hanging fruits, like VAEs. We got faster VAEs going, so light VAE and TAE. And then LoRa's was another thing. LoRa's just happened to work. LoRa's trained for WAN 2.1, just happened to work for.
Yeah, Yondan said that it was like one of the unexpected, like the gifts that we just got in the process.
Yeah, it was just a gift. So some LoRa's work better than others, and I'll talk about that. But so it was identifying these things. So Vase was released as a full model, but we discovered that we could chop the Vase blocks off of that model and use them directly. And then so once we realized that, the next hurdle was sort of wrapping my head around the differences here. So Vase is for a bi-directional video generation. So like I mentioned, the model knows about the future and the past, but these auto-regressive models, they're only supposed to know about the past, the very recent past. So like how on earth could these possibly be compatible? And the way that they are is auto-regressive models work in chunks. And if we think of those chunks as a very, very small bi-directional video, then things start to come together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a neat trick. Basically treating the chunks as almost like those batches that you would start in the end in the forwards. Yep.
Exactly. And there were some challenges along the way, but conceptually that's the idea.
Nice.
And so we just wrote up an article explaining this. So if you want to learn more, keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks for explanation. Yep.
Sure. So, what is Vase? What are its capabilities? There's video to video, so you can use conditioning frames to guide the generation. Some of you may be familiar with the concept of a control net from the Stable Diffusion days. This is the same concept. So you can use depth maps, optical flow, scribble, pose, and some other things, and you can do layout control, and I'll show some examples of these things. But essentially, you provide the model with a depth map, and it knows what video it's supposed to generate when it's been given a depth map, because that's how it's been trained. So unlike control nets, where you need like a different control net model for each of these, Vase, the whole thing is trained on all of this conditioning input. So with the same model, you can send in a depth map or a scribble or canny edge or whatever. So that's one of the main ones, and it's really fun to play with, conditioning frames. There's first frame, last frame extension, and here it starts to behave a little bit differently than what you see in bidirectional models. The utility is high with first frame. It essentially enables image to video in real time with a text to video based model. So the utility is very high for first frame individually and even last frame individually. But remember, we're sending a first frame for a single chunk. So if you use first frame and last frame together, it has to do the transition over the course of one chunk, which in LongLive is 12 pixel frames. So it's like in the blink of an eye, it goes from one image to the other. Whereas in the bidirectional paradigm, you use a start frame and an end frame over the course of like 5 seconds of video, something frames. So utility is very high with first frame when we're talking about real time. And then it quickly diminishes with last frame and the combination of the two. But you can do clever stuff. Like I did a test where over many chunks, I gradually increased the strength, the Vase context scale, and that did produce some cool results. So more experimentation to be had there, but utility is high, mostly with first frame. In painting, this is really powerful one, and it works well. So you can use a mask to generate only in a specific area. So your prompt will only be applied to it. So I'll show an example in a minute where it just masked the person. And so only the background or only the person is modified by the model. And so only your prompt will affect the masked area. Only the LoRa's will only affect the masked area, etc. So it's like regional diffusion. Very cool. And then R2V, this is low utility in comparison to the batch paradigm. It just doesn't work the same. In the batch paradigm, you can basically use R2V to like in-paint an object into a video, but not in the same sense as this in painting. You could like give it 2 images, like one of a woman and one of a purse, and then it could generate a video of the woman holding the purse. We don't really have that much utility. This in real time, this ends up being more like a rough conditioning frame where it'll influence the style. So anyways, they all work. Video to video, first frame, and in painting work particularly well. So let me find my Windows Media Player. I have it wouldn't let me put these videos into the presentation, so I'm just going to do this. Yeah, old school stuff. Full screen. There we go. So this is a gentleman named David. He built this for the last hacker program. He's using Vase with a depth map. So you can do some pretty cool stuff. This is Vase with Kriya, a depth map, and I assume a text prompt. Here's another example from our very own Andrew. And what he's done here is taken a depth map of himself and then composited it with a depth map of some cubes floating around. So it gives this pretty cool effect over here. I think he's using LongLive. with V2V. This is another example from David. I was very impressed that the model handled the glasses like that. Very cool stuff. Very cool. Here's another example using a depth map to do a total character background replacement. This is using, so instead of a depth map like all of those others, this is an example of using a grayscale input. So it's literally just the input image, but grayscale, and then the prompt is like purple hair. So it made just her hair purple and left everything else roughly the same. Like, you know, the background like got a little bit green, but it's mostly there. So here's
it's crazy how well it did the targeting. It's not in painting, right? It was just your prompt saying about the hair. Yeah.
Right. Not good call out there. It's not in painting. It's just from a grayscale of the frame. So yeah, great call out. So here's an example of first frame conditioning. So given this and the prompt of something like, you know, the waterfall, the water's bubbling, or whatever I happen to say, it'll just animate the input. So that's first frame. Here's an in painting example. So got a mask of the human and then used the inverse and changed the scenery. So she's no longer in front of like an office building or whatever. And you can see it even did her hair. Like it put light on her hair to make it somewhat realistic.
Even the sun, right? It's reflecting off of the hair. I mean, it's not like naive superposition. It looks pretty cool.
Right. That's a really great call out. It's not the in painting is not a naive like it is, the model sees the whole input image and then diffuses it accordingly. So that's a great call out, because in painting its simplest form is just like copying and pasting something, like compositing two images, but that's not what we're doing here. It's like the model is doing the in painting. There is no like manual compositing happening. So that's a great call out. So in my haste preparing this, I actually forgot some of the capabilities of Vase. So here's another one, layout control. So given this start frame and this as the conditioning frames, like instead of a depth map, we get this vague layout control. So this is one example. So it's making her look or turn her head around, but you can do this with a different input image and even different shapes here. So like there's one that I saw from the Vase community page where they have an image of a car and then a cube, and they're rotating the cube around and it makes the car rotate. So you can do all sorts of creative stuff with combining these different Vase capabilities. Here's another, this is an in painting example, but using a LoRa. So I made the girl anime with a Studio Ghibli LoRa. Pretty fun. This is optical flow. So the prompt is like fire or something. I like this one better. So the cool thing about optical flow and the difference between this and the layout control that I just showed you with the circle is it influences the orientation of the fish. So the fish isn't just naively moving around according to the square. It's moving around according to this optical flow map. So when the square moves up, the fish looks up. And this is also in combination with a custom LoRa that I'll talk about in a little bit. Nice. Where are we here? Oh yeah, I also forgot outpainting. So given just this, and this is all a mask here, it will outpaint. So you remember, I'm sure, the image to video. So this is the actual image, and we took just this right here, and it gave us a totally different scene with the same waterfall. So this is all the same, but outpainted the rest of the scene. Really powerful. So and very fun to play with. Here's another example with Scribble. And I think what I did here, so you can adjust the strength of the Vase conditioning. This is with a relatively high strength, and you can see that it kept her form. But as far as Studio Ghibli goes, this is like moderately Ghibli, but this is with a lower strength. And you can see this is much more Studio Ghibli. Like, she has larger anime eyes, but it follows her a little bit less. So there's always a sweet spot. Less is sometimes more. Anyways, those are the core capabilities and constraints of Vase, and some demos of what you can do with it. Other things that I don't have demos for, but works. I have a PR open for this actually, but combination of any and all of these capabilities. So you can do depth guidance on only an in-painted area. You can use first frame conditioning without paint. Like, any of these things in combination will be possible as soon as that gets merged. And there's a million creative ways you can use this stuff that I didn't cover. There's I'll find it after I'm done talking, but there's a community page posted by Alibaba with some of what people have done in the batch paradigm, and it should be transferable to the real time context. So that's Vase and its core capabilities and constraints. Before I move on to LoRa's, does anyone have any questions about that?
There is actually one from our very own Andrew that you called out earlier. He asked, like, he wants to do an in-painting. Is it available in CloudScope? Or he was using it yesterday, and he's not sure that he saw a pre-processing for it. So how do people access in-painting? How do we do that?
That's a great question. I think so. I have spiked a masking plugin using YOLO. So it's like, and I'm working on SAM 3. So SAM 3 will be very nice. Powerful. But there's a plugin called Scope YOLO Mask that should be ready in the next few days. It will be a plugin that you can install at will.
Nice.
It's like, in comparison to SAM 3, it's a little bit primitive. It uses the Coco data set, so you can like mask a human being, or you could mask a chair, or whatever object they allow, whatever object it's been trained on from that Coco data set. So it's working, and you can spike your own masking preprocessor or use that one.
Cool. That's all. Let's move to LoRa's.
Sweet. So LoRa's are, for those who aren't familiar, you could basically think of a LoRa as a way to continue training a model in a very cheap way. So you can train it on a visual style like Studio Ghibli, and you can also train it on a motion. That is motion, not. So that's, earlier I mentioned some LoRa's work better than others, and that's because some of these are trained on a specific motion only, and it doesn't exactly translate from a bidirectional video into a real-time auto-regressive context.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, one that doesn't work very well is called like Falling Rain or something. I can't remember the exact name, but it just puts like print like naive falling rain with like puddles in the wrong perspective over the video. So, and that's because it's a motion LoRa that with no real style. So what I've been experimenting with is training these for this specific use case, finding the right mixture of style images and style videos. And let me show you some back to my thing here.
Playlist.
Yeah, my playlist, because it's 1998. All right. So this is a dissolve LoRa. It's based on a Flux LoRa. Flux is an image model. My buddy has generated a lot. His name's Ralph Finger. He's generated a lot of great LoRa's. So I made a little system, a three-stage system to distill Flux LoRa's into LoRa's for for scope, for these autoregressive models in scope. So I generate synthetic data from a flux model, and we get some really cool LoRa's. So I'm still working on it, but here's one for dissolve. So
nice.
Given these trigger words, DD scope and RAL dissolve, it will do cool stuff. So I don't know how interesting that this is here, but it makes prompting things much more fun, and you get like totally different results than you would without it, because this is a fine tune. So this is a style. Here's another one. This is a slime LoRa. So I'm still working on these, and I hope when I get some more synthetic motion data, I can make it more gooey. You know, it is like acting like slime, but I want it to be even slimier.
Ryan, there is a question, and I think it's really relevant to this. What models do we train the motion and LoRa's on? How do you do it?
On either 2.1, 1.3B for long live and stream diffusion, or the 14B for Kriya. And so it's a great question, because that was what I wanted to know was like, why do these sometimes work some of the time? Like those motion LoRa's, you know, I want to be able to train a motion LoRa for autoregressive models. So that was that's like my stretch goal for this LoRa project. And I have done some experiments training these LoRa's off of long live as opposed to off of WAN 1.3B. But I'm still right in the middle of that, and I may or may not see it out to the end. But you can get great results doing style LoRa's with the right combo, training off of WAN 2.1. So that's where these came from.
Cool.
Let's see. So here's a porcelain LoRa doing video to video. You could imagine combining this with vase, so only her face is porcelain and not her hair. Here's a noodle one, just makes everything into noodles, which is fun. You know, it's just super fun, silly stuff. You can do LoRa's on characters. You can do them on any style you can imagine. So they're really fun to have and to play with. So my goal for the LoRa project is to generate at least a handful of these and expose them to the public for fun, and then maybe get some advanced training going, so we can get even better results. So if anyone's curious, this is what the training data for that dissolve LoRa looks like. So this image was generated from Flux.
We still see just your presentation with the LoRa slide. Yeah. Now
okay.
See it, yeah.
So this image was generated from Flux, and there's a lot of them. And then for select images, I used WAN 2.2 image to video. So that's how I got synthetic. That's how I went from an image model, Flux.
Then you chopped the frames for training, or what? How you did?
I think in that test LoRa that I was using in these examples, I think I took the first 33 frames.
Okay, got it.
But what I plan to do when I leave this running over the weekend or whatever, I'll use two sections of the video, always the first 33 frames, and then maybe the second 33 frames. And also in this test, I used 30 images and 20 videos. That Studio Ghibli LoRa that I showed you guys used 200 images and roughly hundreds of images and videos, longer videos too. So it might have been overkill though, because the dissolve LoRa that I have is working pretty well. I mean, it's pretty sweet with only 20 and 30, 20 images, 20 videos, 30 images. So yeah, so all that stuff works in real time, by the way. So here's a dissolve LoRa. It's only at a strength of 1. So maybe I do need more training, because a strength of 1 isn't enough.
Very subtle.
Yeah. So that's what I've been working on with Vase and LoRa's, and I've got 1 minute I can show you guys what I'm wrapping all of this for Comfy UI. So this is generated by Scope. And the benefit here is that with bidirectional WAN 2.1, we are constrained by VRAM and how it relates to the length of the video. So you can only do a maximum of like 100 and something frames, especially on consumer hardware, because it diffuses the entire video all at once. So it needs to hold the whole 100 and something frames and do it all at once. So the VRAM requirements are gigantic in comparison to Scope, where we have VRAM constraints, but not according to the length of the video. So the benefit for wrapping this in Comfy UI is that we can use Scope to do a 20-minute style transfer with WAN 2.1. This is something that would be impossible in Comfy UI without Scope. So the value is that you can do any length of video, and it's also fun to experiment with nodes like this. So I also have an interactive one that I'm working on. So this will be able to output stuff. But the whole point for wrapping this in Comfy UI is 1, very, very long videos, and 2, fast iteration. So you could generate something with Scope and use it as an input to one of the really great models like WAN 2.2. So that's what I've been working on. Any questions, comments, grievances, anything?
I know you have to run, but there's just one question. So people are asking, like, what platform would you recommend for training LoRa's? Are you using like Ostrich AI Toolkit or something else? How are you doing it? And then you're free to go. I know that you have another meeting.
Yeah, I'm not in a huge rush. So
okay.
Any questions are welcome. But Musubi Tuner is the package that I've been using.
Okay.
One of the reasons I'm very interested in LoRa's is because I can train them on my 5090 here.
Okay.
That WAN LoRa that I referenced, they trained it on a 3090. So a 3090, it took 90 hours, but I mean, it's doable on a 3090.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Any plans for this Comfy workflow to become shared, available, or
Absolutely.
you're building it for yourself? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so it's going to be really, really fun because
it looks fun. Yeah.
Like all of these things, like reference image, first frame, last frame, I've made them. So here's some cool stuff. I've made things like the vase context scale or the LoRa strength. I've made them schedulable. So this right here is being used for the LoRa strength. So it's going from its lowest of 0.4 to its highest of 0.193, going up and then back down again. So over a long period of time, like a longer video than 7 seconds, this will be really useful. And so the vase context scale is also schedulable. So I could plug this in here or whatever, or plug this in here. So some parameters you can schedule some parameters, and then others can be keyframed. So I'm not showing it here, but you can use a syntax. Have a syntax going. So at chunk 5, you can change the prompt to a panda or whatever. So prompts can be keyframed, and then first frame, last frame, reference frame can also be keyframed. So I'm still working on the UX design in Comfy for this, but I'm thinking I'll have a keyframe node where you can chain them all together. So you'll be able to compose. You can use all these preprocessors and stuff and generate your whole preprocessor mix up front. So you can change scenes this way. Oh yeah, actually, I need to keyframe context reset. So you could do scene changes. Yeah. So I have full plans to share this.
Awesome.
And many more. So.
And before that happens, people can follow you also on your YouTube, right? Brian on the Inside, and on our Discord. So you're posting stuff there I've been actually referring people who were asking about ways to your latest video tutorial there. I think it was a really, really nice one. So go follow Ryan there. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us, for answering all the questions. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Hope to
thanks
have
for
you again
having me.
with us. Yeah, take care,
Sure.
man. See ya. All right, so while we're waiting for James to join us, I'm going to cover a couple of questions. So Emil Petro asked, are there any chances to bring Scope and Comfy to TD maybe? Hunter said like, hey, there is an option actually to connect outputs from Touch Designer with Scope. And one of the options and one of the ways how we can do these things are either using the Spout or NDI. And I'll be joined by James. We can talk a little bit more about the NDI support in Scope, how we went around it, something that one of our colleagues, Jolie, worked on. James, welcome. Awesome to have you with us.
Hey,
Do you
Vibor.
want to?
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I was just saying, like, we have a couple of questions, like, how can we put inputs and outputs from different apps into Scope and other way around. And people have been asking about the NDI for a while now. We had Spout support for our desktop app on Windows for a while, and now I know that you and Jolie and others have been working on that. So can you tell us a little bit more about the NDIs and what do you do and how it all fits together?
Yeah, so the NDIs are a network device interface. It is essentially an interface that different video applications can expose to allow other applications to connect streaming video with each other on like your local network. So on your computer, you can have something like Resolume, which is this like virtual DJ interface for creating effects that react to the music, and then they can expose that in NDI, and we can consume their video and do things with it elsewhere within different applications.
Very cool. So currently we don't have that built in Scope, right? It's not something that was built in by default. So you guys found a way around to do it. How did you do it? What's the result? How it works? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, so we've created, well, Joelle created a bridge that is like a web application that that will look on your system for different applications that are exposing the NDI protocol. And then it will allow you to identify different ones, and which you can see down here. So I have my NDI sources down here.
We're not seeing your screen, but I'm sure it will be back in a second. Carlotta, can you bring up the screen, please? You might need to change something. Let's give it a second. Cool. All right. Yeah, we see it. Awesome.
Yeah. So I realized that my video has stopped, and I'm wondering, my live stream has stopped, and I'm wondering if something is being caused by me actually streaming my video. So we may have to do some slight bit of debugging here. But essentially, this is the app for the NDI bridge. So what we're doing here is we are looking for different NDI sources that I have running. So we have the Resolume Arena here and OBS, which is another one that I can connect to. And then this application will consume the streams from these different video applications and then pipeline that into Scope. So I've connected to Scope, and I'm going to be running it through Krea Realtime. And then, so what this allows anyone to do is with any video application, you'll be able to pipeline your output in real time through to Scope and choose any model that you want to play with. So this is what Resolume looks like, which I know is kind of crazy, but if you see here, it is like a virtual DJ interface, and I'm just playing with the most basic setup at the moment. But essentially what you can do is you can set timers for music to be played, and then different visuals can appear at set time. And so it's a very interactive experience. So you have like these jumping guys, and you have these things. And then what should be happening, but I have a suspicion that since I am streaming,
okay,
it is broken. So I'm not 100% sure how to Like I'll either have to I can try switching my camera off, which I might try and do if that's okay, and see
Yeah,
if that
go ahead. Try
I'll
try
just
that and see.
that off, and then I'm probably going to have to restart. So this is
Yeah.
just an assumption, but we'll give it a go. But yeah, something that's like super cool about this and this NDI bridge is that it allows you to. I've been playing around with it with the last 2 days, and you're allowed to make changes in your favorite video applications and see those changes and how they're interacting with different models in real time rather than exporting a video and uploading it. It's like you're actually able to choose any of your favorite videos and just do the interactions. So let me see. I will go here. So I need to enable the scope remote environment.
People usually do those build in public videos. We are actually doing debug in public right now.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah. It has been working all day, but I have an inkling that because
you're streaming and stuff like that.
I'm using the network, that it's actually not going to work. But we will give it our best go. But yeah, so like what stuff that I was doing earlier on, just to give examples of it, is that if this would connect as well. But yeah, so like what I was doing was like I was building different scenes with my OBS and then able to see the output of the scene in coming through the pipeline of a model, which was like, it was just so cool. I was like, I have like the Studio Ghibli model set up, and then I could change the backgrounds and like this, and I actually have like control over what is being presented, and then in real time be able to see my videos being changed into AI pipelines. But yeah, I'm struggling to.
No worries. Someone says like, it wouldn't be a live stream if you didn't have to debug something.
Yeah, so something didn't go
that's completely fine. Another question while you're looking into this. While using Resolume, what kind of music are you bumping to usually?
Me personally, I would be. I listen to a lot of like jazz music. So the different rhythms I think would be amazing with like in things like Resolume. But yeah, I'm not an expert in any of these technologies. It's more that they are technologies that are good examples for exposing the interface that's required to do the bridging. So it's just like it's because it's an interactive, a live interactive platform. It showcases really well how you can use it with real-time AI. But yeah, if we could get it running. Okay, we're connected. So we will try.
We're connected.
We will try it. We will try the stream and see if it runs. But yeah, it would make sense that because I'm streaming somewhere else that. But you never know.
There's a lot of streams going on at the same time right now.
Yeah, a lot of different streaming going on.
Yeah, while you're working on that, Joel actually posted to our Sleepwalking channel on Discord where we are sharing this, his tutorial, basically the entire work that's shared on our community hub. So for people who are maybe watching this on YouTube or X or somewhere else, go scan that QR code that we have here. It will bring you to our Discord, and you can find this channel and also this link that's posted. Or you can go to our community hub, and also find it there. So in any case, you'll get to see how it's been implemented, how it works, and what will be the next step. James, are you still with us? You are. Okay, I can see your screen.
I believe that because yes, I am streaming, that the output is not going to stream. So yeah. I do apologize, Vibor, because it was working.
No!
I will get a video together of it working that we can post.
I trust you and community trust you, but at some point you can also post it. One other thing that I actually want to ask you, regardless of this. So currently you said this is working as a bridge, right? But Scope is expanding its capabilities. We had Yondan in previous workshops talking about some of those. We had Ryan talk about it today. Andrew was co-hosting one with me last time and showing like how we put together outputs from Touch Designer into Scope. And we've been also talking a lot about the plugins. So the plugins are the next thing that we are building around Scope and enables people to expand the capabilities, preprocessors, post-processor, maybe even new pipelines and so on. I understand there are plans for having an NDI as a built-in plugin or available plugin for Scope as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Instead
So
of using a bridge, how is that? And what would be the difference, right, from your point of view?
I think it's it'll be able to, just instead of having to run this application, that the inside the actual Scope application, you'll be able to see the different NDI sources appearing and be able to select it from within there, and it would all be encapsulated within one application with the plugin added in, if that makes sense. So then the application would be able to see the different other applications that are exposing their NDI sources, and then you're able to just pipeline that in immediately without having to run this application locally, because that's the only way you can do it. It has to be like running like locally. So
okay. So pretty much the user experience for the user is going to be way more seamless than it is currently right now, right?
Yeah.
If I'm reading correctly, through the plugin.
Yeah. Plug in and play, quite literally with
quite literally, yeah. Awesome.
Quite literally plug in and play with the NDI bridge. And I just think it's such a cool use case, and it opens up a lot of creative avenues for people who have an application that is their kind of tool but they want to explore real-time AI or using AI, video AI, and all these new models where like the bridge literally puts them together and makes it really easy for them to play around with it and create new things.
Got it. And I think, us supporting NEI is actually very timely. I see that one of the comments is that from Emil. Emil actually competed in our previous cohort, actually won it on the Stream Diffusion and Touch Designer track. He said that NDI was one of his biggest discoveries in 2025, right? And now in 2026, with plugins and deeper integration with Scope, with real-time AI video models, I think we get to take that creativity even further. So I'm genuinely curious to see, once we have this as a plugin and once we start building around that, what people will end up creating, either in our cohort or just in the wild. With that in mind, are there some use cases that are particularly interesting to you personally that would be enabled or that are now already being enabled with feeding the output from other tools like Touch Designer, or basically integrating other tools and Scope as part of someone's creative workflows? How do you see it?
I definitely think that the virtual DJ space is is exceptionally interesting. I think that there's a real use case for live performances and things that, because in live performances you have that kind of not every performance is the same, so having visuals that react to the performance, even like in motion or the sound, I think is just like a really interesting space. And something else that I really love is just building. You can, like what I was doing in OBS, is I find that really fun, and I played around with it for quite a while, where I was just building little pictures together and then dragging them around and seeing how the models kind of took those different really basic elements and put them together into something, and with the prompt. I find that really fun as well.
Something specific that blew your mind while doing that, or just a general curiosity and the fact that we can do that now?
Yeah, just generally, it's like I put my face into like my webcam in like a big, like the cityscape, and it put me inside of a window and I could drag myself around, and I just thought it was like the output was like really quite cool.
Nice.
Shame I can't show you, but yeah.
That is pretty cool. James, thank you so much for joining us. Don't sweat it about this one. I think that everyone actually understood what is it that you were trying to show, and it's a technical constraint. With plugins and with other things that you're building, this is going to look amazing. Once you grab a moment, you can just create like a quick screen recording and maybe post it or share it together with Jolie on our community hub and on our Discord. Thank you so much for joining me.
No
it was
worries.
awesome
Thank
having
you so much,
you
Victor.
today.
I definitely will post the video up for everyone to have a look at. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, man. See ya, James.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So we had Ryan, we had James. I hope everyone enjoyed this one. We covered a lot of things today. So we talked about ways, we talked about LoRa's, covered even ideas how you can train the LoRa's, how you can expand different types of ways. And now we are having NDI. So NDI first here was implemented as a bridge, but very soon, as we mentioned, it's coming as a plugin. And that could also inspire you to keep building different plugins for our scope. And one of the opportunities, one of the ways that you can do that is by joining our AI video program. As I mentioned earlier, tomorrow is the last day for your applications. We will be sending invites to people tomorrow and over the weekend. So go ahead, scan this QR code, fill in the form, and I hope to have you join the program. We will be kicking it off on Monday. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Ryan, James, again, thank you so much for being part of this one. And I will see you in the next one next Thursday. Take care and goodbye.